Hey there, welcome to the channel. Today we're diving headfirst into some of the worst survival advice out there. The kind of stuff that could land you in a real pickle or worse. We've all heard those so-called survival tips passed down like old wives' tales. But trust me, in the wild these myths can be deadly. So let's separate fact from fiction and make sure you're equipped with the right knowledge to stay alive. Let's get to it. Remember, surviving in the wild is about using your head as much as your brawn. It's about knowing what works and what doesn't. And sometimes the things you think you know can be your biggest enemy. So buckle up, get ready for some eye-opening truths, and let's make sure you're prepared for anything Mother Nature throws your way. Stay tuned. Now, you're lost in the wilderness, haven't eaten in hours, and you spot a cluster of juicy-looking berries. You remember hearing, hey, if birds can eat them, so can you. Hold on right there. That, my friends, is a recipe for disaster. While some birds might munch on berries that are poisonous to humans, their digestive systems are vastly different from ours. What might be a tasty treat for a feathered friend could be a one-way ticket to a world of hurt for you. We're talking nausea, vomiting, even organ damage. Remember, never ever eat any plant unless you're 100% certain of its identification and edibility. Your best bet is to stick to what you know. And if in doubt, go without. It's better to have a grumbling stomach than to risk a fatal mistake. Okay, you're parched, desperate for a drop of water. You might be tempted to eat snow or even think about drinking your own pee. Let me tell you, these survival myths are about as useful as a chocolate teapot in the Sahara. First off, eating snow will lower your core body temperature, leading to hypothermia. You're better off melting it first. And as for drinking your own urine, absolute survival suicide. It might seem like a quick fix, but you're just recycling toxins and dehydrating yourself even further. Remember, in a survival situation, finding a safe and sustainable source of water should be your top priority. Look for running water, collect rainwater, or even build a solar still to extract moisture from the ground. Don't fall for these desperate measures. Keep your wits about you, and you'll increase your chances of finding safe hydration. You're deep in the wilderness, haven't eaten in days, and you need fire. The sun is setting and the temperature is dropping fast. You can feel the chill creeping in, and you know that without a fire, the night will be long and cold. You remember that bow drill trick, right? Just find some sticks and some string, and you're good to go. It sounds simple enough, almost like a survival hack you saw on TV. Well, hold on a minute. It's not as straightforward as it seems. You can't use just any old string for a bow drill. Most strings are not near strong enough to make it work. They will ultimately break or stretch, and you'll never get a fire started. Just like I wouldn't expect to wrestle a grizzly bear with a twig, you shouldn't expect to create enough friction for fire with a flimsy bit of twine. The string is the heart of your bow drill setup. You need a strong cordage that can withstand the heat and friction. The right string can make all the difference in your fire-making efforts. Think paracord, heavy-duty shoelace, or even a sturdy natural fiber like yucca or sinew. Most regular shoelaces will not work. You need to use materials that are designed to handle the stress and strain of creating fire. Trust me, the last thing you want is your shoddy string snapping mid-ember creation, leaving you hungry, cold, and frustrated. Imagine the disappointment of seeing your hard work go up in smoke, literally. Remember, survival is about improvisation, but it's also about using the right tools with the right tools. You can get the job done, and with the wrong ones, well, obviously you won't. Choosing the right material for your bow drill string could mean the difference between a hot meal and another night with a rumbling stomach. It's a small detail, but it has a huge impact. So be resourceful, but be smart, and you'll increase your chances of survival in the wild. Pay attention to the details and you'll find that even the smallest choices can have the biggest outcomes. Now, I love a good fire as much as the next adventurer. It's warmth, it's light, it's a signal to the heavens that you're still kicking. But here's the thing, folks, fire isn't always the answer. Sometimes it's like shouting dinner's ready in a predator's den. Sure, a raging bonfire can be visible for miles, attracting potential rescue. But it can also attract unwanted attention, like curious animals, or worse, folks with less than honorable intentions. Not to mention, starting a fire in dry conditions could lead to a wildfire. And that's a whole different survival situation. Before you go sparking up the wilderness, assess your surroundings. Are you in a safe location? Do you have enough resources to maintain a fire? Is there a chance it could cause more harm than good? Remember, there are other ways to signal for help, like using mirrors, whistles, or building signal fires in safe, controlled environments. Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, and staying hidden is better than risking a bigger danger. We've all been there, stranded in the wild, stomach growling louder than a wild boar. It's easy to let those hunger pangs dictate your every move, but here's the thing. Finding food shouldn't always be your top priority in a survival situation. Remember the rule of threes? You can survive 3 hours without shelter in extreme conditions, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Notice something? Food is at the bottom of that list. Why? Because your immediate needs like shelter and water are far more critical to your survival. Focus on securing a safe shelter to protect you from the elements and finding a source of clean water before you start worrying about your next meal. Trust me, a well-hydrated and sheltered survivor is in a much better position to find food than one who is exposed and dehydrated. Remember, panic leads to poor decision-making. Prioritize your needs, stay calm, and you'll greatly increase your chances of making it out of the wild and back to civilization. All right, you're lost in the woods, compass busted, phone's deader than a dodo. You remember your grandpappy's words, moss always grows on the north side of a tree. Sounds like a beacon of hope, right? Wrong. This old wives' tale could send you spiraling further into the wilderness. See, moss doesn't play by our rules. It thrives on moisture and shade, which can be found on any side of a tree depending on the environment. Trusting this myth blindly is like navigating with a blindfold on. You could end up walking in circles, wasting precious energy in daylight. Instead of relying on mossy mirages, focus on what works. Look for the sun's position, study prevailing wind patterns, and for God's sake, learn to use a compass properly. Remember, in a survival situation, knowledge is your most valuable tool. Don't let dodgy advice leave you out in the cold, literally. So, you've had a run-in with a serpent, fangs sunk into your flesh. Panic sets in, and you remember that old Hollywood trick, sucking out the venom. Hold your horses, Indiana Jones. That's a surefire way to turn a bad situation into a dire one. Firstly, most venomous snake bites inject venom deep into the tissue. Sucking on the wound won't draw it out and might even introduce bacteria from your mouth, leading to a nasty infection. Secondly, you risk getting venom in your own mouth, which could be deadly. The best course of action after a venomous snake bite is to stay calm, immobilize the affected limb, and get to a hospital as soon as possible. Time is crucial here, folks. Forget the theatrics and focus on getting professional medical attention. Your life might depend on it. All right, imagine this. You stumble across a bear in the wild. Terrifying, right? You might have heard that playing dead is the best way to avoid becoming bear chow. But let me tell you, that's a load of bear BS. While playing dead might work for some bear encounters, especially with grizzlies. It's not a foolproof strategy. Black bears, for instance, are more likely to see you as a meal if you're lying motionless on the ground. They're curious and opportunistic eaters, and playing dead might just pique their curiosity a little too much. The best approach to bear encounters depends on the type of bear and the situation. Make noise while hiking to avoid surprising them, carry bear spray and know how to use it, and if confronted, try to make yourself appear large and intimidating. Remember, when it comes to bears, prevention is always better than cure. Right, so you found yourself a water source. Good. That's the first step in ensuring you stay hydrated and healthy in the wild. Staying hydrated is key to survival. But hold on, before you go chugging down that boiled water, remember this: boiling alone doesn't guarantee safety. It's a common misconception that boiling water makes it completely safe to drink. Sure, it'll kill off most bacteria and viruses, but some nasty microscopic villains laugh in the face of a good boil. These tiny troublemakers are more resilient than you might think. We're talking about things like Giardia and Cryptosporidium, little critters that can cause some serious stomach upset. These parasites are tough and can survive the boiling process. Trust me, you don't want to be caught out in the wilderness with a bad case of the runs. It can incapacitate you, making it difficult to continue your journey or even find help. That's a recipe for disaster, rapid dehydration, and a whole lot of misery. Dehydration can set in quickly, especially if you're already in a harsh environment. So what can you do? How can you ensure your water is truly safe to drink? To be really sure, you should use a reliable water filter first. Using a reliable water filter can make a huge difference. A good water filter will remove those stubborn parasites and give you that extra layer of protection. It's an essential tool in your survival kit. Remember, in a survival situation, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Taking the extra step to filter your water can save you from a world of hurt. Your body is your temple, especially in the wild. Keeping it in top condition is crucial for your survival and well-being. Keep it running smoothly by ensuring your water is truly safe to drink. Cheers to that. Stay smart, stay safe, and stay hydrated out there. Now, who hasn't seen a movie where a rugged hero rubs two sticks together and bam, a roaring fire appears? It's a classic scene that makes it look so simple and effortless. Let me tell you, the reality is a lot more challenging. The process is far from instantaneous and requires a lot more than just a few minutes of effort. While the principle of friction is sound, it takes more than just a couple of sticks and some elbow grease to create a fire in the wild. You need to understand the science behind it and have the right materials. First off, you need the right type of wood. Not all wood is created equal when it comes to fire starting. Dry, soft wood like cedar or aspen works best. These types of wood have the right properties to generate the necessary heat through friction. Finding this perfect combination in the wild can be a challenge in itself. You might have to search extensively to find the right materials. Secondly, you need to create the right setup. A notch in the fireboard, a socket for your spindle, and a bow to spin it fast enough. Each component must be crafted with precision. All this takes time, patience, and a fair bit of skill. It's not just about physical strength, it's about technique and persistence. If you're relying solely on the hand drill method, you might end up cold, hungry, and utterly frustrated. This method is notoriously difficult and requires a lot of practice to master. Instead, focus on mastering other fire starting techniques like using a flint stick, a mirror to reflect the sun, or even better, carrying a reliable fire starter in your kit. These methods can be more efficient and less frustrating. Remember, in a survival situation, conserving energy is paramount. Every bit of effort counts, and you need to be strategic about how you use your resources. Don't waste precious time and effort on a method that's more likely to leave you feeling defeated than warm. Always have a backup plan and be prepared with multiple ways to start a fire. So there you have it. 10 common survival myths busted. Remember, staying alive in the wild requires more than just brute strength. It demands knowledge, adaptability, and a healthy dose of common sense. Remember, this channel is run by survivalcavefood.com. Your support by buying our products enables us to make better and better videos that help you survive. Run over to our site and check out all of the delicious canned meats and freeze-dried foods. Use code YTV to get a discount and free shipping. We truly appreciate you watching the videos on this channel, and if you have suggestions for different videos, please put that in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so you can see more videos on preparedness and prepping. Since you're on a roll, check out some of the other videos on the screen now and learn even more. Stay safe out there